So, hello and welcome. Today, I want to come and speak about why I became an entrepreneur, what the experience has been like so far, and what I am coming to appreciate about the process. So, hello, I'm Michaela Alden, founder of Thrive Alliance, and welcome to this community where we are dedicated to mastering and identifying and experimenting with how to master this thing called manifestation so we can actually be living lives that we really enjoy living instead of feeling like we just have to live the life that we are living even though we complain about it all the time. We're not happy about how we get to do things we get to do in our day. We can actually do something about it, and that is what this channel is dedicated to. That is what the study is dedicated to, basically how you can take control of your life and actually direct it in the direction that you want it to be directed in. So how I got into the work that I do, for me it really started with not being discontent. I was discontent in my work and personal life, where my work felt like one world and my personal life felt like another world. I wanted more flow. I wanted more coherence in my life. At the time, I didn't know that though. So I'm experiencing these symptoms of life not lived, with there's a lot of friction and there's more bad days than good, and there's always drama and there's always something happening. There's always something going on, um, and I started to get curious about this. Doesn't like, is this really my life? Is this really my life? Where there's always some drama going on. Um, and I started to get curious about that, and that led me down a path of personal development. And I started books, self study courses, then start to up level into more um, intimate group coaching on the topic, and eventually became certified as a certified coach in a 12-week program. And that then also led to further development, because now I was exposed to all of these principles, all of these laws, all of this, a deeper understanding on how life actually works. um, and I'm one of those people who likes to understand the mechanics behind, um, like for example, the law of attraction. What is the mechanics behind the law of attraction? Because there are mechanics behind the law of attraction. That there's a three-level process to being able to use the law of attraction effectively in your life. But do you know that? I didn't know that, and it took me a while to get this information. So that was the what I now became certified in this program, and now I'm aware of so much things. And once when you hear it for the first time, you have to give it time to just sink in. That information is on such a level, you must just give it time to sink in. And this is why it's one of those programs that you once you've gone through the process, and you have the information on how to go about um, this process of manifesting the life that you actually do want to live, you're gonna reapply the same process again in achieving whatever it is you want to achieve. Because the first time it's all new. The second time there's more familiarity with it, and you start to get more curious about what you're actually hearing. You actually start to hear some things you didn't hear before. um so that's the great thing about it being a system that you can reapply over and over and over again in your life, because it's like it just helps in the guiding of how do you go about creating a life that you absolutely love living. So I was discontent in my work, and then I went through I got to a point where I realized something internally has to change. I didn't quite understand it, but I was like, I have to take control of this now. I can't be blaming whoever is doing what, or my boss or my colleagues, or whatever the case may be. I had to somehow start navigating on how am I going to move out of the situation. And it's rocky. It is rocky because everything is new. Everything is new. And that's the one thing that I've come to appreciate about being an entrepreneur. As being an employee, and knowing that you're getting a salary at the end of the month, is there's some comfort in that. There's some comfort in the familiarity of knowing that at the end of the month, that's what's going to happen. Um, but the thing about being an entrepreneur, and the thing that led me to going down this path, was I wanted to also know how to scale my income in a way where I'm not just waiting for that one salary and that is it. That's my salary, and my life is going to be depending on how much I can afford to buy with that salary. For me, I was like, I want more freedom in terms of how I'm able to navigate this thing called life. If I want to live in a specific area and live in a certain type of house, now I can't live in that house because my salary says I can't live into that, afford a bond, to buy the house and the repayment on the bond and all the expenses that come with that. And I was like, no, man, something's got to give. Something has got to give. And that is how I ended up down this path now. And then I became a certified coach, and you now having the knowledge is one thing, right? Having the knowledge is one thing. It's a whole other thing understanding how to relay that information over to someone else so they can understand the value of the knowledge that you have. Now I now realize that, oh, okay, there's a deeper level of understanding how to interact with people and how to facilitate the process of transformation in a person's life. There's a certain level of engagement in terms of people that I must now understand, and there's this thing called business and company law and all of these things that are involved in the process now of running a business. Number one, there's the company, there's legal information and stuff involved there. So it opens a whole other world. You're like, okay, this is now my responsibility as well. But it's something that I find is a skill that once developed to the state that I feel, okay, I'm flowing with this now. It's a skill that's going to be so invaluable. It's going to be so invaluable because the world continues to change. And as the world changes, it means that people's needs change. What's required at that specific time changes. And are we able to flow with how the things are changed, or are we so used to our box? Are we so used to our box that we don't? It scares us. When things start to change, it's frightening. And I believe we are all going to go through that process of being frightened as we are making changes, especially if you decide to consciously start directing your life in a specific direction. Changes are going to start happening in your life that hasn't happened before, and it's going to be unfamiliar. And it can feel stressful. And that stressful feeling comes from the trigger that happens on our nervous system. So even though when you decide to go into this type of a study, even though you're going to be applying the principles and tools in your life, you're going to apply it in your life by experiencing it in your life. Okay. And the only way you can experience it in your life is you're going to have to feel the feelings of being scared, have to feel the feelings of being uncertain, have to feel the feelings of building what it takes to use your will to build faith towards understanding that you can have what you want and how to go about doing that, but also being able to let go of the comfort of what you do know for whatever it is that you are now looking to explore, and being willing to get it wrong But what I've noticed for myself is that it is better to be willing to get it wrong, to not get it perfect, to not look like how you think you should look to be able to do a certain thing, to do the thing. And it's like, I want my windows open here where I'm busy recording this video. I want the windows open because I like the flow of air. It's just I just like the movement of air. And when I make the video, sometimes I've been usually closing the windows because it gets this you can hear the cars. But I'm like, what do I really want to do? How do I really want to come and create this video, talk about what I'm talking, but also be comfortable in the process? Because when I close the windows, it's uncomfortable. It's hot. See, sweating here. It's uncomfortable. So now I'm opening the window and I'm seeing, okay, how does this go? I'm going to record the video anyway, because now I'm going to have an excuse on why I'm not going to record this video, because now it's because of the windows and it's hot and uncomfortable. We can come up with all sorts of stories about why we can't and don't do something. And I'm actually going to make a video on that, about limiting beliefs, what limiting beliefs are, and how they actually hold us back in our lives, so we can understand what am I dealing with at this point in time in my life. But then again, like I'm saying, you have to be willing to experience the process involved. If you don't want to experience any discomfort, then you a coach is not something that you actually do want to be working with until you actually know what you want to work with a coach for. And that there's going to be discomforting. It's going to be letting go of habits to install new types of habits, letting go of an old way of thinking to install a new way of thinking that supports this process and supports this journey. So that's basically the work that I do. I will take you through the system, show you how to use the system, um, guide you through it, and teach you, and help be that partner in believing as you go through this process, so that you now know for yourself, number one, what is required, how do you apply it in your life, and have an actual experience of it. And that's why it's a 12-week process. But the beauty of it is, once you know the system, once you know the process, you can now go and reapply it in your life again. And things start to move, things start to eventually pick up and move much more quicker, because you are now becoming more in alignment with how energy flows. So you flow in with energy as opposed to flowing against the flow of energy. But there's training wheels involved in the beginning, and then you start to build up, confidence and efficiency around applying the process and so on. So I just thought I'd come and speak about that, because we have a way of believing that something must look a specific way for it to work, but that's not necessarily true. I think the best thing for us to all do right now, and it's something that I'm doing right now, is really get curious about what do I want my life to be experienced like? What do I want my life experience to be like? How do I want to feel during the day? Me and my husband went out last night it was date night. We even had date night, in 2 months. Yeah, the first date night in 2 months. We're like, no, we must go out now tonight. So we went out, and we really enjoyed ourselves. It was so much fun. I woke up this morning thinking, it was so nice last night. The outing that we had. But if we didn't say we're going to decide that we're going to do that and that be a priority in our lives, we were not going to experience it. Because it's always, there's not enough time, there's not enough money, we've got this to do, there's that to do, or there's, you want the money for this thing instead of that thing. But what's the priority? And I always say, in our household, if me and my husband are not together, this household does not exist. If me and my husband are not working together, we're not on the same page, this family that we have here does not exist, because that all falls apart, and we are basically the glue in this. It's me, him, and our 2 kids, and the family that surrounds it as well. So it has an impact. It's a very important factor in your life. So what is a priority? Nurturing that relationship, or being too busy, whatever, to being too busy making money, being too busy working, being too busy with whatever. And that is one of the things of understanding what you value in your life. Understanding what you value in your life, and in the program also, you base the life that you want to now start directing your energy towards by understanding what it is that you value. Once you know what you value, you have a guidance system to know that, okay, I'm not going to feel out of place with myself because I value family, but I'm never spending time with family. Now you're going to be like, okay, you're going to be, you awake in a way and understanding the process that you're applying. You're like, I value family. How does family now, the actions that I'm taking, does it support the fact that I say I value family? Is it working in coherence? And that's when we start to move more in harmony with ourselves, more in peace with ourselves, more in honor of what it is we really do want to experience, as opposed to doing things that we feel we have to do because we are in survival mode. And it's a journey. It is a journey. It's a journey, and it's a process. And it's one where I can really say I truly understand the value of working with a coach, because you are going to be so tempted to go back to living the old way you have been living. You're going to be so tempted during this process. And it's because it's so familiar. You know the life that you are living right now. You've been living it, and it's so familiar. And when you start to go into that uncomfortable state, there's going to be a tendency to want to say, I want to actually go back there because I feel comfortable there. But you're comfortable in the discomfort because you're familiar with it. And the thing that you actually do want is in the discomfort. It's in the discomfort. And you're going to have to be willing to navigate that process. And that is why knowing how to regulate your nervous system is such an important factor in the process, because your nervous system is what causes you to feel this way. And when you feel that way, that's what wants you to, what triggers you to want to go back to the comfort. But when you understand, okay, this is what my nervous system is doing, I can regulate it by applying specific tools. And when I regulate my nervous system, I can direct my energy to what it is I do want to be doing, and then continue on in that direction of doing what that person will be doing, creating whatever it is you want to be creating, by following how to navigate this process in order to be able to do that. Okay, so that's what I wanted to come and speak about today. I thought it's important to speak about these things when it's fresh, because I tend to think about things and then I'm thinking about it, but I'm not recording it, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like, okay, this is fresh in me, let me come and speak about it. And if you're interested in working through this work, learning what it is, applying it in your life, and having me facilitate you through the process and being that anchor for you during that 12-week process initially, let me know. DM me, send me an email below. The contact is going to be below. And or book a discovery call if you feel like you want to have a real discussion about it. Okay, that's it from me. Have an awesome one. I will see you guys next time. Bye.